let's talk about Tekken 8. This is how I've been training for Tekken 8 as someone who's 100% new to 3D fighting games. So the absolute first thing I did when I loaded into Tekken 8 was I tried to do an electric wind god kick. And I was able to get it. I was so excited. I was absolutely fucking stoked. Later on, I then realized that to do the input properly, you'll get the actual electric effects. I was like, oh, this shit is easy. Everyone's saying this thing is hard. But you actually have to press down, forward, and 2 on the same frame to actually get an electric wind hook fist. So that was the first thing I did. So I did all the combo trials. This one gave me a lot of trouble because it was a very new input to me. See, the first is just forward, forward 3. That makes a lot of sense to me. But then back, forward 2? What the hell is that? Turns out in this game, there are some inputs that are just super unique. This one I was also stuck on for a long time. It says to do the electric wind hook fist twice. But as you can see, it misses. Through doing that, I learned that this wave dash, you can actually hold it for much longer and do the 2 input at the end. And from watching a couple videos, I knew that launchers were really important in Tekken. In Tekken, to do all your damage, you don't do any fancy cancels or anything like that. All you really gotta do is get somebody in the air by doing a launching attack. All the damage from Tekken comes from juggles and smacking people up against the wall. So I tried to do this. And I thought, oh, jab is his fastest move. So if I just do this and hit confirm it, then I can get a bunch of damage, right? But then I had the super good idea to go into the practice settings and set the opponent to block. This was day 2. That combo was just not real. So then I had to find another more consistent way to launch the opponent so that I could do a proper combo. That's really all it is to Tekken. There's 3-dimensional movement as well, but that's pretty easy to learn how to do, right? You just press down and up. So I then set my sights on learning a simple combo that wouldn't be too hard for me to execute in a match. I figured out that this one doesn't work, so I landed on this one. Cute little 45 damage that's not that hard to execute. It's just 1, 2, 1, and then down, back, 2, 2, 3. Very simple, easy 45 damage. So if I'm ever in a match and I happen to get my opponent in the air, I just hit him with a quick 1. Bing, bing, bang. I then set my sights on Korean backdashing. I watched a bunch of videos on how to do it. I tried to do it the normal way with just my 2 fingers, but then I realized I'm playing on a leverless fighting game controller. And with controllers like these, you can do what's called simultaneous omnidirectional, I forget what the C means, but basically it means if you press back and you press forward, the game will give you a neutral input, which means you're doing nothing. You do your first dash by pressing back and then forward, and then you just alternate between down and forward. Then I needed to learn a simple punish that I could do. Simple one for Jin is just 2-4. The last thing I did, I knew that launching was important, right? I knew that if you duck, you get hit by mids, and if you're standing, you get hit by lows. You can block highs and mids by just holding back, but you'll get hit by a low. If you block low, you can block lows, but you'll get hit by mids and highs. Most launchers are mid attacks and high attacks, so you run a large risk by standing there and blocking low. So I figured, okay, I'll set the AI to attack me, and I'll just block high, and whenever it looks like a low is coming, I'll press down forward and try to parry it. But as you can see, I'm missing a lot of these parries. That low kick was fast. A lot of lows in Tekken are actually unreactable. They're too quick. I was able to parry that last one because in that animation, I figured out from just sitting in training mode and letting Kazuya beat me up until I figured out what that animation was. A lot of lows in Tekken are way too fast. As you can see, that attack was only 16 frames. This is 15. The fastest possible human reaction time I think is 15 or 16 frames. So this is what people in Tekken refer to as an invisible low or an unseeable low, because you literally can't react to it. No matter what you do, unless you're already holding down back, you're not blocking this. You have to anticipate and guess that I'm gonna do this. You can't react to this. But it's balanced because it only does what? 11 damage. So after I learned how to parry lows, I started to get a feel for the flow of Tekken and what it's supposed to be like. This is how I think the flow goes. You start the match, poke them with a low here and there, and you're trying to get your opponent to start ducking, right? You want them to duck. Maybe I'll harass them with highs, try to convince them that they want to duck to maybe get a launcher off on me, because if you duck a high attack, every match is going to start out with pokes like this. And pokes in Tekken are a lot different than pokes in a traditional fighting game. In Street Fighter, a lot of my pokes would look like this. They would be safe on block, and then maybe I'd move in after that and do a string that's safe on your block, and then I'm like +2, and there's a mix-up after that. Am I going to throw you, or am I going to back up, shimmy, stuff like that. In Tekken, poking is kind of just, you're actually poking your opponent. You're going to get these hits. You're going to get hit by a couple of these invisible lows, these unseeable lows. So the flow of the game is to just move around your opponent, try to see if they'll whiff something. If not, throw in a little poke. And then eventually, you're going to get a big hit on your opponent, right? That's going to knock them on the ground. And then from there, you can start your offense and do your okizeme and whatnot. But most of the game is just going to look like this, I'm afraid. So after that, I played a bunch of matches with my friend. I got launched a whole lot just from doing like bad movement. I was mashing a lot, so that made me kind of realize how important it is to move properly. And after that, I started working more on my Korean backdashes, because I've only been playing Tekken 8 for like 30 hours, I think. So for the first, let's say 10 hours, it was learning how to move the character around and do combos. The next 10 hours was learning combos that are slightly better, learning how to carry my opponent to the wall, and practicing Korean backdash and electric wind hook fist. The last 10 hours was just practicing combos and just practicing electric wind hook fist, a little bit of Korean backdash mixed in. Since put a lot less focus on Korean backdash because it's not as important as I initially thought, or as Tekken players really make it out to be. It seemed like if you really wanted to play the game, you had to learn how to Korean backdash. So I was like, damn, I don't want to do all that. I just want to press buttons in Smash Bros. And I learned this from Anakin. Shout out to Anakin. If you actually look at high-level tournament play, the pros don't actually KBD that much. And here's why. When you're playing Tekken, this situation is going to happen to you a lot. Someone just does something that's safe. If I'm doing this plus thing on your block, the Korean backdash is not going to save you. See how I'm moving forward here? There are a lot of characters that can do stuff like this. After a couple of backdashes, I'm super close to the wall. That's not a position that you want to be in. Instead of Korean backdashing, a lot of the pros, when they're face-to-face with their opponent, more than often choose to do a sidewalk. And that is Tekken. This is what makes Tekken Tekken. I think it's less about the Korean backdash and more about this. This I see a lot. Every time someone gets hit by a string, this is what they do. Backdash, sidestep, backdash, sidestep. If you're really close, you'll just do a sidestep and hope that they miss something. Some characters are weaker from one side than the other, but that's pretty much the gist of it. If you're really, really close to somebody and you want to make them miss an attack so then you can attack, your best bet is just to sidestep. Korean backdashing is really only good for when you're at this range and you want to back up, move forward, back up, move forward, back up, move forward, stuff like that. So it's really, really, really advanced movement. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to practice KBD anymore. Just a simple backdash and sidestep is going to do a lot more for me than Korean backdash will, especially in these lower levels. So my prediction is that once I start playing ranked, this right here is gonna be my bread and butter. So then what I did is I turned the bot on to attack me, and I moved around like this, and anytime I just thought that he was gonna attack me, I would just throw a hook fist and do the combo that I practiced. So this was that second 20 hours of Tekken I was talking about. That was this, trying to react to Kazuya missing something, and then if he hit my block with something, I would do a quick punish like that. So this was me shadowboxing. Before I turned the bot on, I would just walk around like this, practice doing the inputs, and then I would just imagine I saw someone whiff, and then try to do my hook fist. And this is what I think is gonna get me through the beginner ranks. The next thing I practiced in Tekken 8, I've heard Hell Sweep a lot, but this is the thing you do if you're playing a Mishima, or more like any character. The Okizeme in this game is a lot similar to Street Fighter 6. Am I gonna hit you with the middle? Am I gonna hit you with the high hook fist, the middle tornado punch, or the low hell sweep? You have to guess. So I'm gonna knock my opponent down after I do all this BS. I get the knockdown. Then it's okay, am I gonna do the hell sweep, or am I gonna try to launch you again? Now, for the final thing I've been practicing in Tekken 8 is my flowchart. I've been trying to put together a flowchart and a game plan for my character, Jin Kazama. Back off, try to get my opponent to miss something. Once they miss, go in with my combo. Once I get my combo off, I'm probably just gonna go for the hell sweep. Activate my heat. Once my heat is on and their back is to the wall, I'm gonna look for this heat smash. This heat smash knocks them through the wall. I get another combo. Then they're at like 20 health. All it really takes is another sweep after that point to finish the job. And that's all the practice I've been doing for Tekken 8. And this has taken me 30 hours to get down. So I think if any of you guys put in the same amount of time as I have into learning the proper things, not just spamming combos the whole time, then you should stand a pretty good chance when Tekken 8 comes out. And hopefully I stand a chance against some of the more veteran Tekken 8 players when the game comes out, and I can slowly climb up the ranks and learn more about the game and up my skills. This has been my journey through the demo of Tekken 8. I'll be bringing you guys along for the entire journey once we hit ranked matches. I'm sure that'll be super fun to watch. Till then, do your movement drills, focus on the right things, the basics, don't get too distracted by combos, and I'll see you in the next video.